Every life tells a story. Join Frank Julian as he shares his, one chapter at a time, from Story of a Soul 2, releasing every Wednesday.
The Story of a Soul 2 by Frank Julian, with Sean O'Neill, narrated by Frank Julian. Chapter 16, Patience and Patience. After Christmas, Peggy returned to Grand Valley, and I started my new job at the Michigan Cancer Foundation. I was to follow patients in their home, at the hospital, and at the clinic. They liked my spirituality and gave me permission to pray with patients. However, I was in over my head. I was dealing with dying cancer patients who were very sick. I did intravenous chemotherapy in the home before infusion companies were doing it. It was hospice care, and I just didn't have that much nursing experience. I tried to make up for it spiritually. I was always available to them. I have special memories of my patients from those days. There was Dominic, a man in his 40s with liver cancer. He had an infusion pump but helped me to replace my concrete in a section of the driveway of the home that Peggy and I had bought. There was Samuel, who was a deacon in his church but had never given his life to the Lord. I prayed with him to receive Jesus. He had pancreatic cancer. He didn't want any more treatments, and they turned his case over to me. I tried to keep him comfortable, but he got sicker and went into a coma. I would visit him at the hospital and say in his ear, "Tell Jesus I said hello when you see him." Something very strange happened to me regarding him. I was still living at home, and one night I woke up at 4 a.m. It was very rare for me to wake up in the night back then. I didn't know what to do, so I started to praise the Lord and went back to sleep. The next morning at rounds, they skipped over Samuel. I asked why they skipped him, and they said that he had died during the night at about 4 a.m. My mind went to another place, and I felt the Lord talking to me in my heart, saying, "As you were praising the Lord on earth, Samuel was praising me as he entered heaven." I was quiet and reflective, at peace, but also in awe. I also had a very funny experience that I would like to share with you about a woman named Rhoda. She had rectal cancer and lived in a rundown hotel near Woodward in Detroit. She was getting sicker, so I asked the hotel manager if I could use the office phone to call the hospital pharmacy to get an IV ready for me to go pick up. He agreed. I was on the phone a little while. Couples began to come in and register and go upstairs. I thought nothing of it at first, but when they came down and left, I figured it out. I thought, I'm at a trick hotel, a venue for sin. I got my business done quickly and went out to my car on a beautiful May afternoon to work on a few charts. I had a Bible on my dashboard and Jesus bumper stickers on full display when a car pulled up next to me with a couple in it. The window of my car was open. A blonde woman got out of the car and looked right at me and said, "You're at a trick hotel and you brought the Holy Bible too?" My words stumbled out of my mouth, and I tried to say that I was a visiting nurse. She was gone before I could explain. I prayed for them and went on my way. My favorite patient during that season was Irene. I met her at the clinic with Dr. Reed. Dr. Reed was a well-educated oncologist, but Irene didn't care. She wanted to tell him about Jesus. She was just the patient I wanted to follow up with, and God approved. Irene went to St. Elizabeth Prayer Group that we attended on occasion for charismatic masses on Sunday. She was full of love and life. She was fighting breast cancer. I worked with her medically and spiritually. She was a kindred spirit, and I grew to love her. I remained in touch with her after I left the job. I prayed with her often, and I ended up being a pallbearer in her funeral.
Thank you for listening. Join Frank Julian every Wednesday for a new chapter of Story of a Soul 2. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter.